We're here. We're queer. That's really it. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I am Fat Sajak. Period. And I'm on my period. If you've never been here before, are you in for a treat? Potentially. Probably not. Probably more like a protein shake that you just consume to get through the day. Starting off strong. Today we're going to harken back to something we've done before here that a lot of you actually keep asking me to do again. And today I have a handful of smaller stories and indigestion. I have a handful of smaller stories that I want to talk about and not necessarily make like 3 separate small videos. So today, get ready to do some CPR because we're reviving the dump. For those of you who are new here, the dump is like the soup. For those of you who are new here and much too young to remember what the soup is, thanks for that existential crisis. But also, it was a clip show last hosted by Mikayla, I believe. It had many iterations and hosts over the years. Basically just like a clip show of a bunch of like ridiculous moments in like mostly reality TV at the time. But this is going to be worse than that because this is about people on the internet. That's all. Anyway, make sure if you haven't already that you subscribe because at this juncture I'm dangerously close to 50K. And while I don't particularly give a shit about numbers, I mean I do in the sense that like I like to get paid and I, like to be able to feed my kids. 50K is a cool number. We're like 200 and some other numbers subscribers from 50K. So if you're not subscribed yet, now's your chance to do me a favor or whatever. What are you doing here? I also have a Patreon where we watch some nostalgia content. We've been watching Teen Mom 2. We're basically milking that franchise for all it's worth. We've watched Spice World. We've watched Now and Then. There's a whole suggestion box full of things that I need to get to. We're watching the I Love the 90s series from VH1. Another episode of that is coming up this week. It's a blast over there. You should come and join us. They're a fun little community of goofy little goobers. Flaccid cheese. What a dream. Anyway, how about if we get into the video? Could you shut up for like a second? First, we're going to talk about James Charles.
I'm not physically attracted to older guys.
Oh, good. I love an opportunity to talk about a predator. Actually, most of this video is going to be talking about predators, so this is the special edition of the dump. So, last time we talked about James Charles was when he went on a completely unnecessary and absolutely insanely angry tirade against a woman who literally just sent him a DM that said, hey, I lost my job in this mass layoff with Spirit Airlines. Here's a link to my GoFundMe. Anything helps. That's it. And he went on a long-ass, angry, entitled, tone-deaf tirade about unemployed people and how they're lazy. I just want to reiterate that if you're struggling, I hate James Charles. Those two things are not related, but I do hate James Charles. So I think it was over the weekend, I was alerted to the fact that someone had found this woman's GoFundMe because James said he couldn't find it in his DMs. Like, first of all, what were you looking for in your DMs in the first place? Why are you even opening your DMs? Aren't you supposed to not be using your DMs in any capacity, considering the rich history James Charles has of DMing minors. There's also somebody who came out this past week and said that James is still essentially messaging minors. So that's great. I'm not a big like deplatform them kind of guy, but like when it comes to like crimes against children and putting their like safety and mental, emotional, physical well-being at the forefront. I think people like James Charles need to be deplatformed. It's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think if you can't not treat your DMs like a dating service with a history of messaging minors, sexting minors, I think you shouldn't have the access to those things. I think he should just be banned from things like Snapchat and Instagram. I think he should just not be able to make money on this platform, but those are just my opinions. What do I know? I just care about kids. Anyhow, so I had posted this woman's GoFundMe, and I took it down shortly thereafter because in James's like whole tirade, he referred to her as white, pretty, and able-bodied. Now, the person who was identified as this woman was pretty. Still no definitive way to know whether or not she's able-bodied. That's not up to James, not up to me. There are many invisible chronic illnesses and disabilities. It's not up to you to decide that. But white, I don't think so. So I pulled the GoFundMe down because the person who was the owner of the GoFundMe, if you will, is not explicitly white. And so in thinking that perhaps I had been mistaken, I pulled it down. Because not that I want to discourage anyone from donating, if they can, to people who have lost their job, even if it was just other employees of Spirit Airlines, but I didn't want to mislead because James Charles made a point to donate to this GoFundMe with a goal of, I think it was $5,000, and she was only like $1,200 short at the time. And James Charles made sure that he put his name on his donation and only donated $500. A literal multimillionaire. Really just dragged her for no fucking reason. Just enough to get a deduction on your taxes, I guess. So I was concerned that someone had just put his name in and this was the wrong person. But apparently this is the right person. And she posted a video. It was a TikTok, but I don't have TikTok anymore.
I know another question on here is, do I accept his apology? So I'm just going to answer it right together. Hell no. I don't accept his apology, especially because he was very publicly with what he said, and then you thought it was okay to message me privately. No. So he did message me. Here's a screenshot.
Let's pause to read, shall we? Hi, Amber. I wanted to reach out privately with an apology. First of all, if you are going to make, I think this was like in so many words, I think her point was, if you had the balls to come out here and publicly bash a person for literally just asking for help in a time of need, and you felt it was appropriate to drag the fuck out of them, and not even well, first of all. I feel like when you say you're dragging somebody, it implies that you've done it well. Just absolutely being a huge cunt to somebody who just lost their job and their livelihood in a really disgusting and tone-deaf and absolutely entitled way, then that should also be public. That apology, even though he made an apology that was not an apology, it was him doubling down. After saying that, followed up by the apology he made that was completely contrived and insincere. You really need to. I mean, there is no PR crash course for James Charles. Like, at some point, he's just going to have to bury himself in the shit that he does, because I don't think that there's nothing he could have done here for me personally, as someone who will never see James Charles as anything but a fucking child predator. There's nothing he could have done that would have made me go, oh, what a good guy. Like, no. It's fuck James Charles forever. I wanted to reach, my point was, like, if you're gonna fucking be public about being a dick, then you need to be really public when you apologize. It was disgraceful. It was disgraceful? Is that the language you use in everyday life? The sincerity is already off the charts. It was disgraceful and completely unnecessary, and there is no excuse for me yelling at and berating someone for asking for help in a shitty situation that was completely out of your control. That sure is a sentence. I'm so sorry for adding to what was already a distressing time. I am so ashamed for most only the video. I'm assuming that was supposed to be for not only the video. I'm so ashamed for most only the video. But also for being so disgustingly out of touch. I was sent your video today and was so glad to see your GoFundMe has exploded, but I also know that getting attention online can be scary and overwhelming, especially when you never asked for it in the first place. Well, actually, sharing her GoFundMe would have been the correct amount of attention. That could have been overwhelming attention that actually helped her out. But okay. I've spent the last few days reading stories from real people about what it's actually like losing a job without notice, and also learning about the journey to find a new one when so many people are going through the same situation. Who cares? What is this PR stunt for? She doesn't give a fuck about that. Just send her some fucking money and call it good. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I've just donated to your GoFundMe, but also please know I'm here if there's anything else I can help with or do. Yeah, can you fuck off? Also, fully understand if you never want... Also, fully understand if you never want to hear from me again. I genuinely wish you all the best and hope you're doing okay. Go fuck. I mean, good for her for saying she doesn't accept his apology, though. Like, I don't blame her for that one bit. Because nothing about this even reads sincere. Knowing who James Charles is, and the way he behaves, and the way he moves, and the way he says things to get what he wants, really just absolutely hollow. Just hollow. Like the botched BBL that unfortunately we all have to be subjected to quarterly. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about James Charles, so let's talk about Mikayla Nogueira and James Charles.
So this mascara has been causing quite a little bit of drama on social media today.
So Mikayla Nogueira, who is also a makeup, well, I wouldn't call James Charles a makeup artist. I would call him someone who can do makeup mediocrely and got really lucky with who saw him on the internet. And then we just all have Ellen to blame. So we can just keep blaming Ellen. Anyway, Mikayla Nogueira came up on TikTok. She's also had a history of being completely tone deaf and completely out of touch. And again, someone who built a fan base around being relatable, and you know, I would never say that Mikayla Nogueira is not a pretty girl, but she's a very average looking girl. Like, she's not, and I don't mean that as a slight. Like, I'm not trying to say like, oh, she's pretty mid, but like, she was a very average looking girl with very prominent features who, you know, made a career for herself in the beauty industry by, you know, also using filters and questionable angles. But you know what? Beauty is deception. I think that's the saying. Anyway, so Mikayla recently broke it to the internet that she and her husband, Cody, basically, they were getting a divorce. And she broke it to us like we were her kids, like on Christmas morning, receiving this information. And I don't think anyone shed a tear on the internet for that. Anyway, 10 minutes later, she meets a new man. Whatever. Some people are just like that, and it is what it is. Apparently, this guy was her boyfriend in high school, and they reconnected, and she is, at this point, very much into sharing photos of herself and him online. People were saying she was using filters on him. Apparently, she's styling him, which is, you know, obviously money that's coming out of her bank account, which, you know, given the amount of huge luxury unboxings and hauls she's done, no skin off her nuts, but what do I know? Apparently this guy is now moving in, which, okay, whatever. You move fast, you move fast. It is what it is. Who am I to judge? When you know, you know. And sometimes when you know, it's only fucking temporary and you probably should take a little more time. But again, not my life, not my circus, not my monkeys. Not Without My Daughter is a movie that stars Sally Field. So apparently this guy also has a twin brother, which Mikayla decided to use as like some weird rage bait. Apparently that's like her thing now is just rage bait. Which I get it. It gets clicks, views. I'm here talking about her, right? So like it works. But like, I feel like rage bait is almost as like the way that people talk about commentary channels and like commentary creators, like how they're lazy. They're like repurposing content from other people to make their own content. But like, I feel like rage bait is exponentially lazier. But that's just me, a commentary channel. In the same vein of rage bait, Miss Mikayla was doing like, get ready with me, something incoherent like that. And she was using a James Charles product. And this is not an old video. This is in the past few days. Knowing what we know, what we just learned. What did we just learn about James Charles? Let's list the things. Went off on someone who lost their job for simply losing their job and asking for some help, which is apparently a heinous crime against the rich. Has messaged minors seeking sexual activity, and that's really all you need to know. Okay, the buck should have stopped. The second one, I should have said it first, and the buck should have stopped there. That's all. That's literally all you need to know. Messaged minors only has an interest in men who look like boys, or boys who look like boys.
I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like, I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19 that looks a little bit older, or like 24 that like has a young personality.
Okay.
But sure, let's use James Charles makeup products. Why the fuck not? Because, you know, caring about stuff is boring and stupid. And who does that? Who does that? Who does that? Now listen, I know there's a lot of nuance and stuff like this, right? Like, you know, I feel like people like Morgan Adams, Ryland Adams' sister. Ryland Adams is the husband of Shane Dawson, right? I feel like Morgan Adams was put in a really difficult situation when everything about Shane that perhaps, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Morgan didn't know anything about Shane's past. Now, if you don't know, Shane Dawson has a past of doing a lot of blackface, being incredibly creepy and gross and inappropriate with children. He has a litany of just vile behavior in his past, right? And let's just say his husband's sister, his sister-in-law, knew absolutely none of this, right? None of it. She's put in an impossible situation, right? She can't divorce Shane because that's her brother's husband, right? That's part of her family. But associating with him online is also tricky because then you associate yourself with Shane Dawson. So I think in this day and age, we have such a cut and dry idea of like what it looks like when someone you know is like canceled or like is facing backlash. And it's not always a simple like draw a line in the sand and like walk away from it, because sometimes it's your family and sometimes it's, you know, the lines are fuzzy and there's a lot of gray area. But like there are situations like this stuff with James Charles for sure. I mean, I'm not saying that like there's no hard lines in the sand with Shane Dawson, just to be clear. In this situation where Mikayla's the outlier and James Charles is the perpetrator, there is a hard line in the sand. You are either going to associate with a child predator or you're not. And if you are making any choice but you are not, then you are wrong. Like, if you are continuing to associate with this person in any capacity, in my opinion, you are in the wrong. Because quite frankly, if Bill Cosby, what the fuck? If Bill Cosby made a makeup palette, I wouldn't be using it and showing it off in a video. I don't know, if Harvey Weinstein made a fucking fragrance, I wouldn't be using it and showing it off in a video. obviously, like, there are extremes here. I'm just making extreme examples. I hope you can just follow me where I'm going. But, like, I cannot even for the sake of rage bait understand wanting to associate with someone who messaged minors in any capacity that James Charles has. Not only messaged minors, I have to reiterate this every time I talk about James Charles. Not only did he message minors, explicit shit, he also admitted to it, apologized for it, explained it away by calling it desperation, then deleted the fucking apology and created a second life on fucking TikTok. So, at what point do you draw the line in the sand there? It's rhetorical because I don't fucking know. Immediately would have been my answer. Also, I was thinking the other day, remember last year when Mikayla moved into her new house and there was like that 14-year-old or whatever that kept coming to her house and he kept bringing her like flowers and stuff? Did he die? I'm just kidding. I think we all know he was pretend. Anyway, let's close it out with another predator. All aboard! Colleen. So, Colleen Ballinger, another stellar individual. Colleen obviously becoming famous for her character Miranda Sings, who was never funny, just to be clear, spent her career cultivating a community of kids who she was in group chats with and was extremely inappropriate with. First of all, hey,
hot tip
for any of my fellow adults out there, particularly close to middle age, if you have a following and it happens to be quite youthful,
stay out of fucking group chats.
It's really not that complicated. And hell, let's say you want that tight-knit community, even if it's, with your young kids, which weird. Leave out the stuff about your husband's penis or your other husband's body and sexual stuff, or refrain from asking about their periods and asking them for ass pics, even if it's in jest. Like, let's just maybe not. Let's just maybe not. I have a bunch of little stuff about Colleen here because her little tour has just started. When Colleen got busted for all of these things in the summer of 2023? Yeah, 2023. I can remember stuff. So when she got busted for all this shit, she posted the most absolutely airball ass insane apology video of all time, simply titled Hi, but most people know it as Toxic Gossip Train. Their reputation's deceased. That being her response to serious allegations of things like grooming and inappropriate behavior with minors in group chats, and just like an overarching seriousness with the accusations made against her. Bonkers, just absolutely bonkers. It turns out, according to a user on TikTok, which I found via the Colleen Ballinger Snark subreddit, I got it, girls. Don't bother people if I share things that they've done and said, okay? Just be nice. So, couple things. Evidently, Miss Colleen opened her show with Toxic Gossip Train.
I worked at the Miranda Sings concert last night. Responded back after that whole situation with her. So she opened with the apology song video, and she definitely has AI psychosis. Like, she mentioned multiple times how AI helped her write her entire show.
I don't remember which show this was. This could have been either, I think, Nashville or Atlanta. Because I think she's got Philly and Boston left, which I don't know if that's going to go over well. Because apparently she also got heckled at this show. And her big tough sister kicked them out. Because apparently she works for City Winery now.
The crowd there was actually a lot older than you would expect. Like, I know Miranda Sings is kind of like that peak millennial core, but
How dare you? How dare you? Don't say things. She goes on to say that, like, the crowd there was mostly, like, was a lot of, like, 50 and over. So, like, imagine just, like, the regulars at City Winery being, like, coming to catch some fucking show, and they're like, the fuck is this? I don't know if you can hear that, but that is the horrifying sound of Colleen singing as Miranda sings. So not only did she open, according to this person, the show with Toxic Gossip Train, she also brought back Miranda Sings, because if there's one thing it's impossible for Colleen to do, it's not be inappropriate with kids in group chats, but also move the fuck on. She is incapable of moving the fuck on. I don't, what the fuck? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Sajak, why the fuck aren't you showing us the clips and videos that surely exist of this, instead of just some, like, secondhand information from an alleged employee at City Winery? And the answer, my friend, may not surprise you. While City Winery does have a pretty open photography and videography policy, guests are welcome to capture memories from their City Winery experience using their smartphones or small point-and-shoot cameras. Sounds all well and good, right? Except things to keep in mind. Artists may choose to restrict photography or videography during their performances, and some shows do not allow any cameras at all. And everything I've seen from people who were there says that they were explicitly not allowed to take photos or videos. So that means that was the artist's choice. Now, in the past, Colleen loved having people take videos during her shows. I wonder what's fucking changed. I guess for me, the thing is, like, if you're gonna continue to do shows, right? Because at this point, it's like, it's too late for her really to say anything unless she really sits down and, like, does a, like, well thought out, sit down, talk it through, make amends, apology sort of situation. Like a real one, like sitting down like an authentic person and actually really talking about what happened and owning up to her part in it for real instead of victimizing herself like she likes to do. I think if she's just refusing to acknowledge any of the things that have happened or any of her part in anything that happened, then she's at a standstill, right? The only thing she can do is keep vlogging, which fantastically, she uploaded a vlog the other day that was 95% about farts. And I gotta be really honest, like, this might be like a me thing, or a me flaw, or I don't know. This just might be a me thing, but like I'm all for dumb, silly shit and laughing at dumb, silly shit. But like if you're 40 and like your only jokes are like farts and bodily functions of all kinds, like you're not funny. You're just not funny. That's not comedy. That's not. It's, you know, okay, sure, it's something you take an edible and laugh about with your friends, maybe, I guess, but like, it's so deeply unfunny, it's almost actually maddening to me. Like, the fact that this person has been given this, like, this massive platform that she's doing nothing with. She's spent a lot of time, whether she meant to or not, hurting kids and affecting them in a really deeply negative way, as did a lot of her family, namely her brother, who we have glossed over so many times, the fact that he was, you know, pursuing a minor. Listen. The fact that she was given this platform and she's not even fucking funny and is barely talented in all the other ways, bonkers. And like, listen, I'm no fucking prize, okay? I'm not, you know, gifted beyond measure. But like, I think I offer something a little bit more than a 5-minute discussion on the varying tones of farts, okay? I mean, listen. Don't listen. It's fine. So if you're going to do a show and you're going to make content because you're not going to address what happened, at least make those things for adults. right? Because who's left in Colleen's community, right? It's adults who found her mom content, right? Or it's kids who somehow stumbled across Miranda Sings and think that that kind of humor is funny, even though there are some deeply rooted, disturbing, like undertones of that as well, like her being touched by her, like all of these like underlying implications that like her uncle was molesting her and shit. Like, you know, so you've got the, you know, kids who've stumbled across Miranda Sings somehow and think she's funny, or like the rare adult that thought Miranda Sings was funny then and like has continued to stay with her for some fuck ass reason. These are the only people left. I can't imagine. She's so, even using AI, clearly so stunted in whatever it is that she's creating, which, like, if she's using that much AI for real, yikes. Why bother? Like, what are you doing a live show for? Right? Like, if you're scheduling these shows, which, but like, there were only 4, but like, you're scheduling these shows and you're so excited about them and all you want is to perform live again, and you don't even have like a concept of your show put together except for all the old hacky shit you used to do that got you in trouble in the first place. Like, some shit that AI came up with and some like elementary school props. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What is the point? What is the point? How is this even a creative outlet if you're just relying on AI, you know, generative AI, which, by the way, thanks. I didn't want water anyway. What is this? What is this shit? She needs to just like let it go. Like, let it go. Let Miranda Sings fucking die. Like, literally kill her. I saw someone on the subreddit said something like, I thought she would have had I'm paraphrasing, but like, you know, I thought she would have had a funeral for Miranda. That would have been funny. Kill her. Not Colleen. Kill Miranda. Kill Miranda Sings. Let her die. And then have new material. And then when you have that new material, then play a club. One at a time. Because these venues are not even half sold. And she's playing to quiet rooms full of drunk wine moms and a heckler. I'm just saying. I don't get it. I don't get any of these fucking people. And I'm really tired of talking. Let me know your thoughts on this trifecta of human trash down in the comment section. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Instagram. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. I want to start posting other things on Instagram. I think mostly my followers would just like me to stop posting photos of Gina Davis on Instagram. You know what? She's pretty, so just look at her and marvel at her and know that I would marry her and give her anything she wanted ever. All right, I gotta stop. All right. Yeah. But I don't know how to end videos anymore. Didn't I used to have an outro? Who's to say? All right, make sure you subscribe. I want to hit 50K, and it's all about me, not you. Don't be selfish. All right. Subscribe.